I've never heard of a trade where it's like, here, we just want stuff, but we're not giving you anything.
Again, you're building a young core, veteran players, people that fit the system, shooters. Troy Weaver is telling you, I'm building this thing through the draft, and it'll probably take 4 or 5 years.
And say they go from 23 to 25 games, and you're okay with that? That's baloney. Expect more. Be a man.
Troy Weaver at it again last night there.
Yeah, I saw that. Gosh.
We're going to get Jeff Ifradian, get his thoughts as well. The Pistons trade. They trade for Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, 2 second-rounders, all to acquire a cash dump, really.
I have never heard of a trade where you don't give up anything. This is the first time in history.
Well, they acquired.
I understand that, but you didn't give up draft picks or players. I've never heard of a trade where it's like, here, we just want stuff, but we're not giving you anything. First time in history. And who did it? Troy Weaver.
Hi, Jeff.
How you doing? How you guys
Terry
doing?
just said it.
Jazzy
How do you make
Jeff?
a trade where you don't give up anything? Look, I think Nerlens Noel, serviceable backup.
Yeah.
Alec Burks, I like it. That's kind of the veteran guard you were looking for anyways. 2 second-rounders, irrelevant. You took on some cap, no problem. The Knicks now can move for Jalen Brunson. I think Troy Weaver, an underrated trade. I don't think it's going to send Pistons Nation into a frenzy. I don't think people are going to be, throwing a party down at LCA because Miles Bridges or DeAndre Ayton came to town, which is probably done by now. But the point is, that's a good trade. And that's a trade, again, there's like no cost to the Detroit Pistons outside of what? Nothing. Literally nothing. You added 2 veteran players, something you were going to do in free agency. You just took on their contracts. Those are expiring contracts coming up soon. And on top of that, you still have enough money to go out and get 2-3 more veterans in free agency if you so chose to.
Yeah, no, it was a great trade. You didn't have to give anything up like Terry hinted at, and that's more so has to do with the Knicks. Like the Knicks want to clear cap space out for Jalen Brunson, and they're desperate to do that. So we get a second-round pick, our own second-round pick, and another heavily protected second-round pick, and you get 2 veterans. And Troy Weaver kind of talked about that too. He doesn't want a team full of 22-year-olds. You get 2 guys, 2 veterans, one Alec Burks, who I like a lot. Jaden Ivey, Cade, Killian, they're going to be able to learn a lot from. He shot 40% last year on almost 5 attempts. So you address the shooting a little bit. And like you said, Nerlens Noel, he can be your bridge to Jalen Duren if possible. Jalen Duren can start in the G League. You have Nerlens Noel. Even if you move Nerlens Noel, if he feels like Jalen Duren's ready to play, it's a win-win. You add veterans. Troy Weaver in OKC, they had Nerlens Noel back there, so he's familiar with them. It was a great trade, man. Nothing sexy, like you said, but solid.
You know what I find sexy? Over the last 3 seasons, he shot over 40% from 3.
I like that.
While shooting more than 4 attempts a game. Not bad if you ask me, Terry.
That guy, I personally think Noel is garbage, but
yeah, he's never healthy.
He does do something. He is a rim protector, but there's another thing, and I always would address this with an NBA team. You need to do. It's a little bit older. I don't want to call him a mentor, but he can settle the troops down when things get bad.
Right.
The old Pistons had a guy named I think that wasn't David Thompson. It was David Greenwood. David Greenwood didn't play on the Bad Boy Pistons, but if they got into a jam, they'd always come over here, say, "Uncle Dave, what do we do?" And that's what his function was. And I don't know if Noel is like that, but that would probably be his role.
There was also $6 million sent towards the Pistons' way, cash money.
So what are you gonna do with that money?
I want to say not completely covers the buyout with Kemba, but pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
Again, this is just a smart trade. You get a veteran shooter that you can add to the team for a year, maybe 2 at most.
Yep.
Nerlens Noel is whatever. I'm not worried. If I'm Kelly Olynyk, I'm looking over my shoulder because I think you're next, buddy. And I don't think Troy Weaver's done.
I was just going to say, I don't think Troy's done. There's more contracts you can move if you want to clear up more cap space. Kelly Olynyk's an option. And we'll see. Maybe they can flip Nerlens Noel. You never know. So regardless, that's why I tweeted out, regardless if they stay or get traded again, it's a win. Like, they both have team options next year, so even if it doesn't work out, Troy can decline both their team options, and you don't have no commitment. So this is what I love. Troy Weaver spoke about this too. He wants flexibility moving forward. You don't want to be stuck in it, signing Miles Bridges for $30 million per year, and you're in a predicament. Now you have guys you can move off of, and keeps the team flexible, which I love. That's how good general managers run their team. You keep your team flexible, keep your options open.
Well, speaking of
case.
keeping options open, 2023, looking ahead to next offseason, yes, there will be a draft. Terry will get to whether or not this team's going to be a lottery team, even though the July 1st has not happened yet. So you have to wait and see. But you're not getting one of the two primary targets everyone expected you to go after, Ayton and Miles Bridges. But next season, Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Vucevic, Miles Turner, Eric Bledsoe, Chris Middleton, Porzingis, Caris LeVert.
It's a lot deeper.
Gary Trent Jr. There's a lot of players next year.
There is, but Troy Weaver's taking a huge gamble, though. He's got two guys he wanted to be here. Now, next season, is that going to be the case? I mean, you mentioned all those names, and they sound sexy, but tradition has been, if you're a top free agent, you've rejected Detroit's offers. So if he can get one of those guys, then good. But I don't think you can just say, we're the Detroit Pistons and we want this guy and that guy, and we'll get two out of the four that we really want. There's a huge chance that you could strike out in a rich free agent field next year because it's Detroit. It's the Pistons.
Yeah.
I think you can, but Jeff, your recruiting pitch is going to be Cade Cunningham going into year 3 after this season. Jaden Ivey ideally showing star potential, and Saddiq Bey taking that next step as well. I think there's a good recruiting pitch here in Detroit. Are they going to land, again, a top 5, top 10 free agent, at least a top 10 player in the league? I don't think so. But you don't need that. Again, you're building a young core, veteran players, people that fit the system, shooters, dynamic fours, and you know what? I think you're good at the 5 moving forward. If you want to address the Isaiah Stewart situation in a few years, you have a few years.
Right.
I don't think he's anything more than a guy that comes off the bench and gives you minutes when your guy needs to rest. Jalen Duren has potential to be a 32, 34-minute guy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have one more? Nerlens Noel is whatever this year. But, Jeff, I think next year, looking ahead to free agency, they're not going to get Kyrie, LeBron, none of these guys. Nor would you even want them. I think Troy Weaver is telling you, I'm building this thing through the draft, and it'll probably take 4 or 5 years. And enjoy the ride. Unless something crazy happens and somebody becomes available, which I don't see happening.
Yeah, I think it's important for Troy also to just know what he has. Like, know what you have in Jaden Ivey. He hasn't even touched the summer league yet, Jalen Duren either. So I'm not really a big fan of signing Miles Bridges, considering the fact that Charlotte's already came out and said we want to bring him back. So if you can, you'd have to really sign Miles for the max to where Charlotte can't match it. If you sign him for a discount price, Charlotte's just going to match it. So it's pointless at the same time. I don't want to offer a max contract to Miles Bridges, and I'm talking $30 million per year. I'm just not on that train. I like what he's doing now, and just let them figure out. You're not going to be very good this season. We understand that. So get veterans. See what you have in Jaden Ivey. See what Cade looks like in his second year. See how Saddiq progresses, Killian Hayes, and the rest of the guys. And then you can address the roster and see what you need. I don't want – and I applaud Troy for not jumping the gun, trying to sign guys too early. He understands the process, and he understands how these things work. He comes from a professional organization with Sam Presti, so I got to give it to him. He's doing it well.
Basically, what he's doing is kicking the can down the road.
That's kind of where my question is. Looking at this team at face value for what it is right now, projecting Jaden Ivey, Saddiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, whatever you want to do.
Right.
This is a lottery team next year.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of difficult to convince anyone how they're not going to win more than 17, 18, 20 games, 22, 24 games, 26. Do they get to 30? I don't know. This is still very young.
Right.
Inexperienced. And even if I'm Dwayne Casey, I know I'm part of the rebuild, but Jesus Christ, guys, you got to send me out there and lose another 54 games? Yo.
I know, but brother, how do you add Jaden Ivey and then win fewer games? Because you were talking about winning 17 games?
No, they'll clear 30.
Projecting a top 5 lottery team.
Okay.
So just based on recent years.
If we can get to mid 20s to mid 30s, I think that's improvement to me. If you get 10 wins better, 12 wins better, I don't think. I mean, even if you get 35 wins, you might make the play.
23 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, come on, 10 wins more. You can get 33 to 36. I think that's fair.
I don't think you can right now. 33 to 36 without free agents right now is a tough ask. That's such a young team.
But they won 23 with the injuries they had last season. So if everybody stays healthy, I think at least 30, minimum of 30. If you win 25, 26 games, I have a problem with it. I do.
That's a failure.
Yeah, I do.
That's big time failure.
You added Jaden Ivey and you added different pieces and you regress.
Jaden Ivey's a rookie, and as much as I want him to go out there and put 18 a night.
But you think he's going to be the best rookie?
I think he'll be the best rookie out of this draft class.
If you go from 23 to 25, that means Jaden Ivey had a horrific year.
Not really. That means you have a very young team in the Eastern Conference that is very solid, 1 through 9. You're looking at this is it's a long-term game.
Right,
this is why I keep saying 4 to 5
here.
years. Jaden Ivey can give you 17 a night year one, and you can still probably win 24, 25 games this year.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that
I want to give you a dictionary, and I want to teach you a new word.
All right.
Expectations. You should expect more. You are a huge Piston proponent and everything. So if you're going to allow the Pistons to add Jaden Ivey, add a center, and although they're young, and have another year of maturity of Cade Cunningham, and say they go from 23 to 25 games, and you're okay with that? That's baloney. Expect more. Be a man.
It's whoa. Okay.
Be a man.
All right, chill out. I'll tell you what.
Get him, Uncle T.
Yeah, get that BS out of here. I'll tell you why.
Well, be a man.
This is a young team. Go look at all the teams that have built the way that Detroit Pistons are building right now. You can go to the Golden State Warriors, a high, extreme, successful example, and the Celtics. Who does this team remind you more of? That's my question to you guys. The Warriors, back when they drafted Steph?
Probably the Celtics.
I think it's the opposite. Because the Celtics had veteran star players surrounding Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart early on. This is just a young team. There's no 35-year-old Al Horford sitting there getting you 12, 14, 16 a night consistently, getting you the extra 2-3 assists on your stat line that you probably wouldn't get if he wasn't on the court. This is a young team. Can they win 30 games? No one would be happier than me. I think it's too early. You have to wait till free agency. They're going to have to go after maybe another big man. Maybe they move Olynyk. I still think there's moves out there. I think it's too early to say that this team is going to improve by 7, 8, 10 wins.
I think, and the reason why
unless Cade's a superstar.
The reason why I'm saying that also is assuming, I mean, they have $30 million.
They're going to make a move.
Right. They're going to add more in free agency. So I think adding whatever is available, adding veterans. I mean, me and Sean made a video last night kind of walking through some free agents. If you can get some of those guys, no doubt in my mind, they should be at least 30 wins. Now, do I expect them to be 38, 40 wins? No. But I think clearing 25, if we can just get to 30, I think that's a step forward in a positive direction. What would that be? 3-4 consecutive seasons of at least just 20 wins? I mean, that's
not acceptable.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Jeff.
I appreciate you.